In the center of a golden empire, hidden behind jade walls and blood-red tapestries, there was a girl no one dared to look at directly. Asterisk, she was not a concubine. She was not a queen. She was not even allowed to speak in court. Asterisk, but everyone knew her name because she was the emperor's daughter, and her bedroom had become a place of punishment. The emperor of obsession. Asterisk, the emperor ruled over 300 concubines and a dozen official wives. Asterisk, to the outside world, he was a man of tradition, dignified, devout, and just. Asterisk, but inside the palace, he was something else entirely. Asterisk, he was not cruel out of rage. He was cruel out of pleasure. He did not strike, he watched, he did not shout. He whispered, and when his wives disobeyed him, even in the smallest ways, he had no interest in public beatings or exile. He created something worse. He gave them to his daughter at forbidden bedroom. Her name was Lei. She was 16 when it began. Asterisk, before that, she had been hidden from most of the court, educated in poetry, calligraphy, and submission. Asterisk, she spoke softly, walked slowly, bowed deeply. She was the emperor's most fragile flower, but when she turned 16, her father summoned her into his private study and said, asterisk, from today, you will serve the empire in a way only you can. Asterisk, you will cleanse the pride from those who forget their place. She didn't understand. Not until that night, when the first wife was escorted into her chamber, the first offering. The first wife had argued with the emperor in front of visiting nobles. Asterisk, she was elegant, powerful, and proud. But in Lei's chamber, she was stripped of rank. Not beaten, asterisk, not in prison, just told to lie beside the girl. You will sleep here, said the guards. Asterisk, until His Majesty says otherwise. Lei sat on the bed, hands in her lap, eyes to the floor. The wife hesitated, but she knew refusal meant disappearance. Asterisk, so she lay beside the emperor's daughter. Both were silent. Both were silent, both breathing, neither knowing what came next. And all the while, asterisk, the emperor watched through a small slit in the wall. Behind the curtain, the ritual evolves. It didn't stop with one wife. Soon, any woman who displeased him, a jealous concubine, a wife who refused intimacy, a lady who forgot to bow, was sent to Lei's chamber, some for a night, some for a week. Asterisk, one for an entire month. Lei was never told why. She was never told what to do. Asterisk, just that they were hers to share the bed with, and that her father expected her to be obedient. Each woman reacted differently. Some tried to dominate the girl, hoping to reclaim control. Some wept silently in her arms. Some curled into a ball and refused to touch her at all. Asterisk, and Lei. She just lay there, motionless. Asterisk, expressionless. Asterisk, staring at the ceiling, while her father's eyes burned from the shadows. A court that knew, but said nothing. The palace buzzed with rumor. Everyone knew what was happening. Asterisk, but no one dared speak of it because the emperor had made it clear. Anyone who names the girl's chamber shall sleep in it. Servants were forbidden to clean her room. No guards were posted outside. Asterisk, and still, punished women were escorted there regularly. Asterisk, it was the room of shame. But the shame wasn't Lei's. It belonged to everyone, and no one at the same time. The daughter's silence at first. Lei cried when they left. Asterisk, then, she stopped. She learned to count breaths. To watch the flicker of candlelight. Asterisk, to listen to the pulse in her own wrists, instead of the breathing of the woman beside her, because she realized something terrifying. They don't see me, she once whispered to herself. Asterisk, they see him. Each wife who entered the room thought of the emperor. Not the girl. Asterisk, she was just the bed. The emperor's justification in private. The emperor called it cleansing. A proud wife forgets her place. He told one advisor. Asterisk, but when she lies beside innocence, she remembers shame. He believed he was restoring balance. He believed sexual humiliation, when blurred and indirect, was more powerful than any public punishment. Asterisk, he believed his daughter's silence was proof of her loyalty. Asterisk, and he believed the women who emerged, broken and speechless from that chamber, would never defy him again. Asterisk, he was right, they didn't, but something else began to break. Not the wives, not the servants. Asterisk, lay that queen, who refused. Asterisk, one day, a new wife was sent, a proud, defiant woman named Xinyi. Asterisk, she was beautiful, educated, and the only one who dared meet the emperor's gaze without fear. Asterisk, he married her because he couldn't conquer her. Asterisk, and when she refused to submit, she was sent to Lei's bed. Asterisk, but unlike the others, Xinyi didn't lie down. Asterisk, she stood at the edge of the room and said, asterisk, I will not share a bed with a child to satisfy the sickness of a man. Guards moved to force her, but Lei stood up for the first time and spoke. Asterisk, let her be, let her go. It was the first thing she had said in 2 years. The emperor was watching. Asterisk, and in that moment, something changed. A seed of rebellion. Asterisk, Xinyi was dragged away, but she had left something behind, a whisper, and in Lei's mind, it grew louder. Each night, not defiance, not anger, just a question. Why am I his punishment, instead of his shame? There comes a moment in every prison when the prisoner realizes something terrifying. They can control my body. Asterisk, but they are terrified of my silence. Lei was no longer a child, no longer just the emperor's daughter, asterisk, and not just the bed where others were punished. She was now a mirror. And what the court began to see in that mirror was the slow collapse of a monster. The echo chamber of the palace had grown quieter. Asterisk, not because the emperor demanded it, but because he feared noise. Laughter made him suspicious. Whispers drove him into rage. Asterisk, he started tearing down silk tapestries. Asterisk, ordered his ministers to sleep with their doors open. Banned music from the gardens. But Lei's chamber, it remained untouched, because that room, that bed, those silent nights were still his theater. Asterisk, but the actresses had changed. The women were no longer weeping. Asterisk, the wives who entered Lei's chamber now didn't emerge shattered. Asterisk, they emerged furious, not because of Lei, but because they finally understood. Asterisk, he's watching. Lei would whisper, asterisk, not for lust, not for beauty, asterisk, but for control. Asterisk, each woman, once humiliated, now returned from the chamber with their backs straight and their eyes awake. One by one, they stopped apologizing, they stopped bowing, and though they said nothing aloud, asterisk, they had all seen the same candle burning. Asterisk, the same writing on the wall. A candle with 3 wicks, asterisk, it began with a symbol. A candle placed in Lei's window, with 3 burning wicks tied into one. Servants saw it, wives saw it, asterisk, even guards saw it. No one said anything, but the meaning was clear. Asterisk, he watches. We burn together. We remembered the emperor's panic. Asterisk, the emperor noticed the shift. The women no longer cowered. They whispered in hallways. They stared back. He demanded to know why. Asterisk, his guards gave no answers. His ministers gave false smiles. And Lei gave him silence. He stormed into her chamber one night and said, "What have you done to them?" She simply looked up and said 5 words. Asterisk, I taught them to sleep. The night without orders. Asterisk, one night. A new wife was sent to her, but Lei refused. She doesn't belong here, she said calmly. Asterisk, you do. For the first time, the guards hesitated. She stood in her doorway. Behind her, the bed was untouched. The candle was lit. Asterisk, and when the emperor heard, he flew into rage. But something stopped him, not fear. Asterisk, recognition. He realized he had given her the weapon. Asterisk. All those nights of forced ritual had become rituals of resistance. The whisper that shook the palace soon. A whisper echoed through the women's quarters. The girl does not sleep anymore. She watches him now. A chamber of shadows. Asterisk, late one evening, the emperor crept into her chamber alone. Asterisk, he opened the curtain. He stepped inside. He stood by the bed where so many had been laid in shame. Lei sat calmly in the corner. You still think this is yours? He sneered. She smiled, just barely. No, she said. This was always yours. Asterisk, I just let them survive it. The final morning, the emperor was found dead 2 days later, collapsed in the garden. No marks, no wounds. Asterisk, just his hand, clenched, around a piece of silk. The silk was marked with 3 tiny burn holes, 3 wicks. Asterisk, his physicians called it a heart attack. Others said it was madness. But among the wives, and in the servants' halls, no one mourned. Lei's throne was never a chair. She did not become empress. She did not claim power. She did not wear crowns. But no decision was made without her voice. No woman was touched without her permission. Asterisk, and no servant forgot her name. Asterisk, because in that chamber, where humiliation had lived for years, asterisk, Lei created something stronger than rebellion, memory. Her last act years later, when she was old and gray, Lei returned to her chamber one final time. The bed was gone, the tapestries replaced. She sat on the cold stone floor, lit a candle, and whispered into the silence. You used me to shame them. Asterisk, but I used you to awaken them. Then she blew out the flame. What power fears most in the empire's secret history scrolls? Her name was nearly erased. Asterisk, but in the hearts of women, from queens to maids, she is remembered not as the emperor's daughter. Asterisk, not even as the one who ended him, but as something much more dangerous. The girl who refused to sleep. Asterisk, so others could finally rest.